All right, guys, welcome back. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Valerie.
Valerie. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names.
Okay.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here with Valerie. How old are you, Valerie?
I am 33 years old.
Okay. Right on. And did you grow up in Tucson?
I did. Born and raised here.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
So, how was life like growing up for you? Like, how was your childhood and all that good stuff?
Well, I can't say it was too bad. I mean, I grew up with a single mom. She worked, 2 jobs. Me with my brother and I and her. I mean, she was a loan processor. So she had pretty good jobs. I don't remember ever like not having food and whatnot. But she was always working. So I mean, in that part, I was really lucky. She did, though. I remember always go out, from Friday to Sunday, and then it wasn't actually until I was already in my 20s that she started actually using hard meth and pills, and then it just kind of went down from there. I mean, everything quickly changed, and
And how old were you when you started noticing she was going out?
Well, for really, I mean, as long as I remember, it was a thing even from when, gosh, I mean, like 4, 5, 6 years old. We were lucky because my aunt lived up the street, and my mom, if we woke her up, Saturday morning, she was partying all night. She would flip out, and we would, get our butts kicked or whatever. And so my brother and I knew in the morning when we'd like sneak out of the house in the morning to go to my aunt's house on the street to have breakfast and stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
God forbid we made cereal. Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you.
We laughed about it later in life, but thinking about it now as a mother, I'm like, that's awful. I don't have my kids in that situation, but
yeah. Are you still in contact with family, your mom, or?
No, not my mom. Some of my family do like Facebook and stuff, but my mom, no. I haven't talked to her in a little over a year. She's not the same person that she was.
Yeah. And does she battle with like substance abuse or anything like that?
She absolutely does.
Okay.
She's not a bad person all the way around. And it sounds horrible. I hate to say this and people think she's awful, but I actually, not my addiction, but I started using opiates when I was a kid. I would tell her that I had a headache in my back because I was so young. I didn't know how to say that I had bad, because I have really bad back. Mm-hmm. And she was at the time doing the 5 milligram Percocets, which had the 512 on the pill. Mm-hmm. And she was like,
that was my first one.
Yeah, like 6 to 7 years old. She was. I remember being in trouble when I take them, and I had pain. And then at like 11, I started smoking weed. But she didn't know that, but. I stopped telling her about my back because I didn't like to take them. So weed then on, it was my decision what I was doing, and not a good decision. But I think about it now again as a mother. I'm like, how do you even get to that point? I think that's okay. Like, instead of taking me to the doctor,
Yeah. As far as like today, what does today look like?
Well.
In regards to like addiction or anything like that?
Well, I am actually still, I'm dependent on opiates.
I think he's trying to get
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to pause it. He has it. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
All right.
I lost my phone, so I'm trying to call it.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
But so when so opiates has been my always biggest problem. I was 18 when I first got insurance, mm-hmm. and went to the doctor and found out what was wrong with my back, and so ever since then I've been on opiates every day of my life. Mm-hmm. And it's been a battle, like down more the whole time, really, up until about a couple years ago. They stopped taking my insurance, my doctor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and he's a phenomenal doctor. He was the one that was just like, oh, here's pills, He was really trying to help me with my pain. I have scoliosis in 3 areas of my spine.
Yeah.
And then the scoliosis is so advanced that it's actually pulling my my spine is so far to the right, it's pulling my ribs like this. I now have costochondritis, which is basically my ribs are trying to pull away from my sternum. Yeah, and it's been like a really really bad flares, and ironically, after all these opiates and stuff used, if my doctor had just or myself or whoever had just put me on ibuprofen, that's really the only thing that helps the pain. It's the only thing,
like temporary fix.
Yeah, because I mean, and I mean, I have my associate's degree in veterinary medicine. I went to Penal College, and I know I shouldn't be where I am right now, but in life and things happen. But I learned in my schooling that opiates are not at all as far as like a relief. It just tells your brain that you don't feel pain. So people who have chronic pains with that, I mean, it's like they should be the ones to have that, not someone who's in pain temporarily or something. That's the last person you should put on opiates because they're gonna get addicted, and it's gonna go. Once they're done, they're gonna find some ways to keep getting it. And I don't understand how that's not even like a thing. And her doctors, I mean, I don't know, who knows what's going to but excuse me. So now, after being on every pain medication you can think of, my doctor tried to find that right one for me, from Dilaudid to Vicodin to Percocet to OxyContin to fentanyl patches. Going from a regimen for the last 3 years I was prescribed of Percocet and OxyContin, which actually worked because I had long-acting, fast-acting, to nothing because my insurance stopped. I started doing heroin with the ex-boyfriend that I was with, and after about just under a year of being on heroin, I was like, I can't do this. It's so awful. And I feel like I was like the gray area of my life, and I had 2 kids. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. So I went to the methadone clinic and I got on methadone, and it was a godsend. I mean, I got off of heroin, I got off pills, and I was almost done with methadone. I went from 180 milligram dosage down to 30.
Wow.
I was almost done, and then my mom started using meth, who I was living with at the time, and she started having these like psychosis like moments where she lashed out at me, and my brother was like, it should be easier if you just left, just leave. And so then my kids were still in school. I left them there with them so they could go to the week, come with me on the weekends. And then my mom didn't tell me that she got kicked out of her apartment she was in, had my kids at the hotel on 6th of the freeway, and left them there alone to go get dope in the middle of the night. And they got scared, and and they went out to go see if she was in the parking lot or whatever, and didn't realize her kids, like, the door locked behind them. And so, long story short, she called her dad, who I was very grateful that he wouldn't pick her up, but he refused to give them back to me at that point. And because Arizona has we have no custody agreement, and they can't force me to give them to me.
Okay.
So first it was a fight between us, but being homeless, I was like, I'm how can I have them with me this time? They're 13 and 10. So
ultimately their safety and everything is important.
And above all else,
Yeah.
I obviously I see them, I talk to them and stuff, not that they want to, but they understand. I mean, I'm very grateful for my kids. They're very, very smart, and they pay attention to what's going on around them, so they know.
How old are they?
10 and 13.
Okay.
I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son.
Okay. So as far as like your ultimate goal, like the future, what do you think your future looks like? And actually, are you homeless?
I am homeless.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah. So as far as like the future from here on out, like what do you want your future to look like, or if you're making any steps to any goals, anything like that?
Yes. I actually did my SPDAT with
for the housing.
Yes, for housing, or any type of housing at all, actually. Because once I do, then the kids, we're going to do a 50-50 thing. So that they can come back and be home with me. But my ultimate goal to get to that point is to go back to the methadone clinic.
Okay.
I stopped originally because I was living on Picture Rocks, which is not close at all.
That's a little far, yeah.
It was like a 30-minute drive from the house to the methadone clinic, the closest methadone clinic out there.
Yeah.
And even though the cab driver was like, it was far and few between. They like that they would never even come. They couldn't find a house. It was like a whole thing, and so. It was just a nightmare. So of course it was easier to go around the corner and buy some pills than it was to try to get down there, which is such a cop out. I know, but it was, It's just one of those
Yeah.
things.
A couple more questions. I don't keep you too long. As far as like your day-to-day basis, like how do you support yourself and your habit?
Well, to be 100% honest with you, I basically, I don't know what to say, but like I will find new people, friends I've made out here, which I can call friends because they help me with food or shelter, clothes, which apparently is a thing, or you cannot have anything out here without being stolen when you close your eyes for 5 seconds. They need some pills for themselves, or whatever, and so we kind of, like pull our money together, and then we go and get as many as we can, which it is such a nightmare because I can't do anything. I mean, I have a housing voucher right now, and I'm about to lose it, or will. I'm not going to let it get there, but I'm about to lose it because I can't go down to the courts to get my warrant squashed because I'm worried about not having pills, and I'm worried about which is it makes me so mad. I feel so like mad at myself for being so like pathetic and weak that I can't even get done what needs to be done, to have my kids back because I'm scared of being sick, I thought about it the other day, and like it's a literal fear of being sick.
Yeah. Exactly. That's straight up, 100% honest. And just keep in mind, like it doesn't mean you're a bad person. You know what I mean? Like I had a wicked habit for like 13 years and been partying for many, many years, and that just doesn't make us a bad person. Ultimately, like like what's important is like realizing your situation, and then kind of like attacking one thing at a time. With the housing voucher, how does that work? Are you with a voucher? Could you just get a place, or do you have to wait a bit? Like, never heard.
Well, the program that I was selected for is because I have kids at an age of 18. Yeah. But in order to qualify for that, I can't have any warrants.
Okay.
So that's why that was that. But basically, once I get that squared away, they sent me a list of apartments or rental properties that take similar to like Section 8 as far as like who accepts the type of voucher. Okay. But basically, it's a I can't just go anywhere and say, oh, hey, I'm going to pay for this house or I'm going to pay for this, it has to be pre-selected and all this stuff, which again is like very similar to Section 8.
Yeah.
But, but if I don't lose it, which I cannot let that happen, but it's...
Have you been to Detox or rehab?
I have not, no.
Okay.
The methadone clinic helped a lot last time, so I have faith in it. I tell everybody, because I know myself, and I know that unfortunately, I don't have the strength to sit there and make myself say, I've seen many people do it before.
I understand.
It is, I can't take it. I can't handle it.
Sure.
Because what draws with me is, everybody has excuses, I know that, but like it's not just like, oh, I get high and I'm good, it's the pain is amplified by like 10 times, and that's really all it is. I mean, that's just the sad truth about the whole blues epidemic, or whatever you want to call it, because there's no actual getting high. When I smoke weed, I got high. Even with I guess with the meth, you get high. You have like a feeling to where it's like, hey, with the blues and everything, it's just to not be sick.
Doing it to stay well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no getting high.
Facts.
And I'm like, it's such a sad realization. I'm like, that's so awful. Like, what? I'm doing this drug to stay well. Like, I was well enough without it. Why am I so full as far? Like, I've been talking to a couple people about that. Like, you ever thought about that? That, doing it, something that's, and not just like, okay, yay, I'm not sick. Okay, I don't be sick. Okay, I'm not gonna be sick anymore. Like, it's terrible.
So, I'll give you my card. I think I gave you my card already. I have like plenty of resources, like where to go, information on Detox, or So since you already know about the clinic, that's good. You have that info. Sounds like that's kind of what you want to do, and that works. So if you ever have any more questions, like Detox or like rehab, anything like that, just give me a call. I have plenty of information. Been through all this myself. So Last question: if any family or friends see your video, do you want to say anything to them? Any messages or give them reassurance, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I haven't been around. Um, I I just lost my brother a year ago. He was also homeless out here, and I got him into a rehab program in Phoenix. And after everything was going good, he was sleeping in an alleyway one day on 3050 Glendale and got to sleep. You know, they caught the guy and everything. It was such a huge loss to me because my brother was everything, you know. And I don't know. I feel so alone, and I'm so ashamed to call everybody or even ask to help or people to see me like how I look right now, you know. So just an apology. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you for your story.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys.